I'm not going to claim to be an expert on this. It just seems like social media experts are all over the place these days. You know, what I've learned is a technique from a guy who I watched. I actually took part of his presentation. He calls it rip off and deploy. His name was Kyle Sexton, and he goes around the country and he teaches people social media stuff. And when I was talking to him at the end of his presentation, you know, it used to be people would raise their hands on who was using social media and Facebook, and it would be 10% of the room. Now it's 95% of the room. So, you know, there's lots of experts out there. There's a lot of people out there that say they know what they're talking about when it comes to this. And I'm not going to sit up here and teach you step by step how to do some stuff. There is one thing that I'm going to show you to maybe help you out a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point you in the right direction to some things that I'm using for the chamber that can maybe help you guys optimize your time using Facebook. Probably the biggest thing is that it's such a time killer. So a year ago they said that, you know, Google was unstoppable and number one. Facebook was the number 4 website with a lot of business potential. YouTube was growing faster. LinkedIn was growing really well because of the unemployment factor. A lot of people getting on there putting their resumes on. MySpace was taking a dive, and Twitter was just there. Facebook has topped Google in rankings. YouTube is heading for number 1 in search. LinkedIn introduced their company pages, which was a big deal for them. MySpace is still falling off that cliff. It's pretty much for bands and kids. And Twitter is still there. So basically what I'm going to talk about are a few things. Twitter is open and searchable. Now, I've struggled with Twitter myself because I really think it's kind of a, it's just a place that for people just say, what they're doing, where they're going, whatever, and I don't really care what most people are doing, to be honest with you. So I've struggled a little bit. I've struggled a little bit with the whole premise of Twitter. What really is important about it. The biggest thing that's important about Twitter is that it's open and it's searchable, which means if somebody does a search for, say, Bremerton on Twitter, they're going to come up with a whole bunch of stuff that anybody that said Bremerton or any keyword that people posted is going to come up in that search. Facebook, you can do a search, you can find users, you can find businesses, but you can't actually do a search and search through content like you can with Twitter. So that's pretty powerful when it comes to search engine optimization. Your Twitter followers are not sending you messages, you're sending them messages. Your Facebook friends are. So basically, you got to think of this like the face-to-face networking that you guys do here. Be interested in what people are saying and be interested in what you're saying back. So I'm going to go through a couple of things. Some of the concerns about social media, security obviously is huge for social media. A lot of companies are having to draft social media policies. How they're, what their policies are on what their employees are posting, what they're getting out there. Because as you've seen in the media recently, your company can really take a beating if you put something stupid out there. You don't want to put something controversial out there unless you're really looking for that negative attention. Your employee productivity. I mean, we've all seen the Farmville and all the games out there that they're just a time sucker. Fortunately, Facebook has fixed that up a little bit. So you're not seeing it all over your wall. I mean, a year ago, all you saw was Farmville requests for your people wanting a duck or something like that. Fortunately, they've actually put it in a different section to where now it's not blasted all over your wall. You don't see your game requests until you actually look in the game requests, which is fantastic. You say you don't have time. I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how to post to one and have them all put it on there so you can not spend all your time doing this. How do you manage it and you don't understand RSS feeds? I'm going to get in a little bit about what an RSS feed is and how you can take advantage of what they do. If you have a pen and you want to take some notes, I can go back to this at the end and leave it on the screen. These are a few different applications and resources that you need to be looking at. I'm not going to walk you through every one step by step. There is one that I'm going to go through a little bit, but write these things down. These are some of the resources that you can use to optimize your Facebook and Twitter page. The QR ones, I'm going to talk about QR codes. I put a couple of QR creators on there. Red Laser is kind of a cool one. Foursquare, has anybody used Foursquare? Chris?
Can you just forward that to me?
Yeah, sure. Has anybody used Foursquare? I know Joyce does. She's on my friends list. Anybody else? Foursquare? Okay. Foursquare and Facebook's Places are basically check-in apps. You can go with your smartphone, or your iPad or whatever. If you go to different locations, you can actually check into those locations. And I could put this slide up on our Facebook page if you guys want to go look at it later, and if you don't want to write it all down. But basically, what you're doing is, say I go into Cornerstone Coffee. I check into Cornerstone Coffee. It shows that I'm there. I can see that other people are there. And you can do what they call a mayorship on there. It's really kind of useless, but it's kind of fun to be the mayor of the place because I've been there that many times that I'm the mayor. Guy Stitt and I have a great competition over downtown businesses in Bremerton. Every time I see him, he's pointing at me in person. And you took that one from me, and it's just fun. But there's a lot of things like that where you can check in. If you've got a big friends list and you're checking into a place, basically what that is you're showing people that you're frequenting that business. That's an automatic endorsement for that business. So it holds a lot of power. If you've got a lot of friends, and whether you're friends or not, if you've got a lot of people that are on your list, you're showing them that I frequent this business. And some companies are doing special things, like they're offering hot deals through Foursquare, or you can, if you become the mayor, I know Starbucks for a little while was doing, if you were the mayor of a certain store, you could walk in there, show them your phone, and get a free latte. So, if you don't necessarily have to be using the application yourself, but if you go on their website, make sure the information is correct about your business on there, because the users can create a place for you. So they can walk into your business and they can see that you're not on there, and they can create a place. And they can put whatever information they want on there. So I would recommend just go on Foursquare.com and register your business on there, if nothing else. Make sure your info is correct, your hours are correct, things like that. Foursquare it's kind of like the starter on all those, and there's other ones out there. Facebook's Places is doing the same thing, and that's got a lot more power. But you might want to check those things out and make sure that that stuff is what you want people to see when they get on there. The other ones are stuff like applications that you can take advantage of on your smartphone or your iPad. So check them out. They're pretty interesting. The ones on the left here I'm going to talk about here in a minute, so they're kind of important ones. So for Facebook, 500 million users is a lot of people. 150 million in the US. These stats are probably about 3 months old, so it's probably quadrupled since then. Half of them will log in today. Your average user has 130 friends. I've got like 900 and something. They're not all my friends, but I've got lots of people on there. There's about 200 million mobile users. The mobile applications are incredible. There's so many smartphones out there that can log into Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff. It's absolutely incredible. The mobile users are twice as active. Obviously, you got your phone in your pocket. You can see what your friends are doing, and you can post your statuses. Now, this is a big thing. And this is what I see all the time. And I'm going to give you guys a quick lesson on your Facebook page. If your Facebook page is the name of your business, I'm not going to see your page. If your Facebook profile is the name of your business, like if I called mine Bremerton Chamber, you're violating the terms of service on Facebook. So if you're saying Bremerton Chamber is my username instead of Mike Strew is my username, if Facebook finds out that you're doing that, and you've taken all this time to cultivate this friends list, you may lose your Facebook profile one day. So what you need to do is go on and create a page for your business. It's attached to your Facebook profile. You have to log into your profile, but you go in and you start up a page, okay? The page allows you to put whatever you want on there for your business, but you're not going to be violating Facebook's terms of service. Now, they do have an application that they put on there recently where it allowed people to convert their profile to a page for their business because they were aware that people were doing that. But if you're going out there and you're using the name of your business for your profile name, don't do that. And there's a couple of reasons why, and it's not just because you're violating Facebook's terms of service. People are going to want to shop with you because they know you, they trust you, and you've cultivated a business relationship with them. That's one of the reasons why people come to Chambers, to cultivate business relationships. So put your face out there. Let people know who you are. I'm Mike Strube, and I run the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce. So, I make sure people know that. So make that change immediately when you get back to your office today if you're doing that. It's a big deal. This one's kind of funny. I stole this one from Kyle. This is actually Kyle's brother there, Britt Sexton. Don Pancho Mexican Foods has a contest on their page. So this is a great suggestion to get your fans to advertise your product for you. they basically get their customers to take their tortillas and take pictures in crazy places. This guy Britt goes around taking Don Pancho tortillas, hiking on him everywhere he goes, and talks about how much he loves Don Pancho tortillas. These guys, they're giving him free tortillas for a year because he's gone around and done this. So basically, that's a perfect example of your fans, the people that like your business, advertising for you. What better than the word of mouth? And the word of mouth on Facebook is huge. So, be creative on there. Do something fun. I know, Amy at Amy's on the Bay has been doing trivia. She said she comes up with some cool food trivia. If you're the first one to answer, she'll give you a gift certificate to her restaurant. She's cultivating her fans and keeping them engaged. The biggest thing about Facebook is, I don't know if you noticed, if you've got a lot of people on there, friends like I do, you don't see what everybody's doing on there. You only see the stuff that you're interacting with the people that you're interacting. So if you want to have them seeing your stuff, you need to engage with them. Basically, if you go onto your page, it gives you the option of using it as your business page now, which is a new thing that they started doing recently. If you go on your page and then you go start searching, do a search for businesses that you know, people that you do business with. Find their page and like their page as your business. I don't know if you notice, I've been kind of going a few at a time. I take about 10 members at a time when I think of it, and I go and I find their page and I like their page from the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce. And then if I see them posting something, I'll like it. I'll share it. Because if you're sharing and liking other people's stuff, they're seeing your stuff too. Because you have to have that two-way interaction. Otherwise, you're just putting stuff out there and nobody's seeing it. It's kind of a dynamic way of doing things. And they use some crazy things really to determine who sees what on there. So a few tips on Facebook. Use lists to manage your friends. If you don't want to put what you're saying out to everybody, if you want to have your family as part of it, and then your business associates as part of it, you can create lists on there. So when you post something, you can say, I only want to send it to this list. I don't want my grandma to see it, see me having a drink with my friend the other night, and you got to be really careful. I'm going to show you guys something in a couple minutes, a news story that came up today. Like I said, use a page as your business. The thing about the page versus the friends too, they cap you out at, I think, 5,000, 2,000 friends, something like that. You can only have a certain amount of friends on your profile, but on your page, it's unlimited fans. Unlimited amounts of people can like your page. If you get 25 fans or more, which you should be able to do fairly easily, it'll allow you to create a username. So it'll be facebook.com/Bremerton Area Chamber of Commerce or McCormick Woods or whatever it is that you want to use for your username. So you can put that on your business cards. You can put it on the things that you're mailing out. You can put it on your blog. You can put it on whatever you want to do. Ask fans for their opinions to engage them. Facebook, I'm going to skip down. Facebook just added a thing called questions on there recently. And it's actually an official Facebook thing, so you don't click on it and they make you install something new. You can ask your fans questions. What are they looking for in the product that you're selling? What types of things interest them? So come up with something creative and engage them. This is the big thing. You earn my like. Now you got to keep it, right? I mean, how many times have you gone and liked something and somebody puts a whole bunch of junk up there you don't like, so you dislike them? You want to earn their views. You want to make them actually be interested in what you're saying on there. So you got to be creative. I'll go find quotes. I'll find a funny video. I'll find this or that. But you also want to keep it pretty much business related too. Have it say 80% business related and about 20% fun. Because if you're just putting a bunch of junk out there, people will just stop paying attention to you. This is the biggest thing. Don't spam your friends' pages with events and promotions. If you're going to create an event, put it on your wall, share it, invite people to it. That's fine. If they don't want to be invited to it, they can just click ignore, or they can click that they're not attending. But the worst thing you can do is go out and post that page all over one of your friends' walls, because they don't, what if I'm not interested in it? You're just bugging me. And then it'll actually show up. If I see a certain business that's doing that, I can see that they've done it to 20 businesses on my wall. And to me, that's just kind of an annoying thing to do. It's kind of just getting out there and and really hammering people. It's spamming, and nobody likes stuff like that. So let your fans and your friends help share your stuff. If you're offering an interesting event and you invite the 300 people you've got on your friends list, if they think it's interesting, they're going to share it with their friends, And just by them clicking that they're attending, it'll put it on their wall too and help you get that advertising going. I already did the real name thing. Like I said, like others' posts and share them, be interactive, be relevant, and keep a personal touch. Don't just use your logo and your photos. Mix it up a little bit. People want to know who you are. I already talked about the questions. That's our Facebook page. I snapped that a couple weeks back. You see I've got my blog on there. I created a blog and I just I'll take stuff and I'll share it on my Facebook wall every once in a while. But you can see, you know, this is a few weeks ago, I have 945 people liking it. And I've got some of my members. Mercedes went on there and offered ballroom dances on there. You know, Carlos is looking to get rid of a sign that was out in front of the business that he just bought. I encourage my members to go on my Facebook page. If you post on that wall, all these people are going to see it that are fans of it. So I encourage you guys to get on there and do it. If I see somebody, I'm kind of a jerk about it, to be honest with you, though, but if I see somebody that's not a member that posts on my wall, I just delete it. You know, you guys are paying members. You're here to take advantage of what we're doing. So if somebody doesn't see the value in what we're offering and they're posting on my Facebook wall, it's gone. If they keep doing it, I'll block them. You know, it's something that I think is important for you guys to be able to share this stuff. This is the insights. You know, the cool thing about Facebook too is when you create a page, it gives you insights on what's going on. You know, in this particular week, I had 43 new likes. That was a good week for us. 1,060 active users. But look at that post view. That was in a 3 to 4 week period. 41,508 post views on things that were posted on our Facebook page.
Can you explain a little more? Because I don't quite understand.
Sure.
I've been looking at mine.
Sure. It's basically if somebody shares what you're doing and somebody shares it on their wall or they like it or it's going on the top news. Basically, they're what they call impressions. If it gets up on somebody else's wall and somebody's looking at it, then it calculates how much it's actually being viewed. So I thought that was kind of a powerful number. You know, I've got 900 people that are active on my page, but because of the people that are very active on my page, they're pumping up my numbers to some pretty big numbers of what people are seeing on the content that I'm doing. So that's pretty cool stuff. So if you guys work together, check out each other's pages, share the stuff that you're doing, you increase the visibility for everybody involved. So I got a few people that just like everything I do. Joyce is great about it. Every time I post something, Joyce is liking it, and thank you for that. So whether it's something dumb or not, she's always liking it. This is something we created too, and this is been a little slow getting rolling. Facebook introduced groups about a year or so ago, so I created a members only group. So the challenge with this though is for me to invite you into the group, I have to be your friend on my regular profile page to be able to invite you into the group. So I would like to get everybody here on that. If you're not on it, please let me know afterwards and I'll friend you and invite you in. But basically what you can do is only members can get into this group, only members can see what's posted in this group. And I encourage you guys to get on there and share each other's events, offer member-to-member discounts, things like that. Talk about what you're doing in the community. We've been getting a little bit of action out of it. Ross put some stuff, this is a few weeks old, but it's pretty cool. It's a way for you guys to interact with each other without actually having to, be on each other's friends list. Twitter is such a crazy place right now. 17 million users, 7% of the US population is on Twitter. 53% of them are what we call lurkers. That means that they go on there and create a profile and then they never do anything with it. And I've lurked quite a bit on Twitter over the years. 75% of tweets do not come from twitter.com. That means they're not logging into Twitter and sharing what they're doing. What they're using is third-party apps like TweetDeck, who Twitter just bought, Hootsuite, and Twitter Feed. These things basically are profiles, especially Twitter or TweetDeck. You can use TweetDeck and you can have it set up with your Facebook, your LinkedIn, and your Twitter, and you can make one post and it posts to them all. So if you're saying you don't have time to do this, if you're saying you don't have time to curate your stuff, use TweetDeck or Twitter Feed and have it do it automatically for you. Something I'm going to show you here in a minute is how to kind of optimize that a little bit and get more content. So use it to share links, ideas, headlines, crowdsourcing, which is asking opinions. So take advantage of the fact that all these people are out there wasting their time on Facebook and get their opinion about your business and the things that you want to do. This is kind of an interesting thing. Delta was having some serious PR problems. They were having a lot of complaints, and they actually had some people go onto Twitter and voice complaints about what they were doing. So they decided to take advantage of that technology, and what they'll do is they've got a search engine that looks for anytime somebody posts something about Delta on Twitter, and they'll go and address it. They've got somebody that'll address their problems by solving it right away. It's really interesting what's going on with all this stuff. This information is available like that. If you do something really crazy, people are going to find out about it. I mean, it's really weird. The privacy these days are it's incredible. I had somebody, I saw on his page today, some guy was climbing on some equipment at the YMCA today, like doing something weird, like, trying to show up for his girlfriend and climbing up on the equipment. So the guy acted like he was texting and took a picture of it and posted on Facebook, ridiculing the guy. So, be careful what you do out there, because you never know who's got a camera phone. But you can do stuff like this too. You can create your own. Oh, yeah, it wasn't Mike. So you can, basically, you can create your own business Twitter account, and you can cultivate your relationship with people on there. Your films will last forever on YouTube, and that is true. Once you put them out there, they're there. They're not going anywhere, which is cool and scary at the same time. I highly recommend that you take advantage of YouTube. YouTube, how many people have cut their cable now? Is there anybody that's not using satellite or cable now?
You turned it off, Mike.
Did I turn it off?
Mike off,
Hello? There's a button on the bottom apparently. More and more of this is happening. When I moved recently, I had about 2 weeks before my satellite was going to get installed. I didn't have any internet at my house, but I had a smartphone. And I paid a little extra on my bill to have this thing. That video was just streaming through my phone. I have the Wi-Fi service on my phone. I paid $30 a month. I was surfing the internet on my laptop while I was watching Netflix through my Wii on my big screen TV with no cable or any satellite. It was a little slow. The picture quality wasn't as good as it could be, but people are cutting the cable now. They're starting to go to YouTube to watch their videos. They're starting to go to Netflix. They're starting to go to Hulu and Hulu Plus. There's some really cool stuff out there that you can do without having to watch regular TV. I created a while back a YouTube channel for the Chamber. I've been going around about every 6 weeks or so, and I'm doing a spotlight on a member. This was the Puppet Museum in downtown Bremerton, and he was awesome. When I did his, he put a link to it in every email that he sent out to every business associate that he had. I'm getting a little bit more creative. I started using Photoshop or Adobe Premiere, so I'm actually learning how to make the videos look a little bit more professional now. But it's pretty cool. I videotaped all the eggs and issues from last year. I've got probably 90 videos on the Chamber's YouTube channel, so check it out sometime. It takes minutes to create a YouTube channel. If you've got a Gmail account, you've automatically got access to YouTube, because YouTube owns YouTube, and Google owns YouTube. So a lot of smartphones have video features on them. You can get these flip video cameras like this thing, or the little Kodak one, for less than $100. Get one, use it, have some fun with it, put it on YouTube, and then share it on your page. So if you see me posting a video, one of these member videos, please share it, because it's basically, I'm trying to help you guys promote your businesses. So this is kind of a unique concept that I learned. Now, basically what it's doing is getting a little bit of search optimization going on your blog. People tend to make blogs and then ignore them. I'll be honest, I don't spend as much time on the Chamber blog as I would like, but that's another aspect of what I'm doing with the social media stuff. Basically, search engines love social media stuff. So I'm going to show you how. I'm not going to walk you through step by step, but I'm going to show you a few things that you can do to create a blog and add a newswire to it. So the social networks want your content, the search engines look for content, and basically if you do this right, you can really drive people towards your stuff. So if you haven't created a blog, it's really easy to do. You can go to Blogger, WordPress is a little bit cooler look to it. It's got a little bit more that you can do on the page. So if you go create a blog, now some of those links that I was telling you about, I'm not going to walk you through this step by step. It's just too complicated, but it's really not hard. Anybody can do it. If you can upload a picture to Facebook, you can do this. It's really not hard. Go to twitterfeed.com and you can tell it to send what's going on there to your Twitter account. Basically what I've done is, that's my Bremerton Chamber Twitter account. I set up some RSS feeds for a while. I don't know if anybody is on there or not, but I bumped up my numbers by about triple by adding RSS feeds. RSS feeds are basically newswire feeds, they're headlines. And they're constantly being put out there by a number of different organizations and websites that basically will stream news about anything you could possibly think of. And I'm going to show you. If you go to, you can tell LinkedIn to import your status from Twitter. You can also, connect Facebook and Twitter. So when you post to one, it posts to them all. If you go find a news share, basically Feedzilla is the one that I got mine from. So if you go to Feedzilla, you can actually use Feedzilla in Twitter feed, and you can have it put the news feeds on your blog. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So you can, actually, let me get back to that. If you look on the right-hand side, I mean, it's really hard to come up with content constantly on your blog. You have to be really creative and think of new stuff. But if you see on the right-hand side, Feedzilla is doing two different things. It's got one that just kind of stays still every time you refresh, but it also will stream business news on there. So I'm doing marketing news down here and business news on there. Now, it's really not a big deal, but it's adding search engine optimization to my blog, which gets it higher rankings on Google. So, if you don't want to spend the time every day posting stuff on your blog, if you do something simple like that, it just adds content to your page. You can take that page, you can share it on your Facebook, you can share it on your Twitter, you can have one of the applications that I told you about do it for you automatically. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. You can spend about 10-15 minutes a day on it and make it work just by kind of tying everything together. I'm going to jump back a couple. So if you're doing a video, your video should be relevant to your business or customer base. Upload your videos to your YouTube profile. Embed your YouTube videos into your website, blog, Ning, share them on Facebook. What I've been doing is uploading them to the blog, and then I'll share the blog onto the Facebook. So it's actually, every time you click on that, it's giving me some search engine optimization to my blog. And basically what the goal is to have, when somebody does a search on Google for, say, Bremerton, right now if you search Bremerton on Google, we come up number 2. We're right behind the city of Bremerton. So you want somebody, if they're searching for your business or they're searching for your style of business, you want your search engine optimization to get up there as much as possible. Because if you they put a few keywords in there, that's going to come up. A perfect example is Great American Furniture. They've done an awesome job with theirs, because if you type in Bremerton into Google, Great American Furniture is on the front page. And it's simply because they've obviously been doing some stuff with Google and getting their search optimization up. So, share the stuff to your wall. Like I said, like each other's posts and be interactive. Status update tips. It's really kind of a unique thing. You have to have kind of a sense of humor, and you have to have a little bit of fun with it. Put something interesting up on there. Try and keep it business focused more than personal, but don't advertise constantly. If you're doing something interesting with your business, put it on there. But try and find something fun every once in a while. Try and do something personal. Use them to remind people of something you've already posted without duplicating posts. People tend to share the same thing all the time. If you see something fun, you want to post it, then do it. But if you've already seen it 3 or 4 times, why post it on your business wall? Because everybody's already looking at it. Use trivia, be interactive, engage conversation with people. Use your status updates as a way to get people to talk to you. Think of something that can drive a conversation. Because the more people interact on your page, the more people are going to see it. You notice on there it'll show top news and most recent. Top news comes up more often than not. If nobody's commenting or liking your stuff, nobody's going to see it. So you really need to engage the conversation. So basically, if you put it all together, and if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to ask me afterwards. I didn't want to stand up here and go through step by step on how to use Twitter feed. It's really not hard to do, and I'm more than willing to help you guys out. But I put it together on my blog. If you see on my webpage, you got the links for Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Blogger right on the front page. That's on every page of my webpage. You can access my social media stuff. Chris?
Can I fax a smoke signal to your pager?
You have to learn how to dial first. And then, post your stuff. I just took this yesterday. I created an event for the membership luncheon. Numbers weren't as big as I'd like to see them, so I created an event and I invited a bunch of people to the event, and people responded to it. We got more people to luncheon because of the event. So, use events. Events are great. There's lots of them out there. It's kind of crazy how many people create events. And don't create one for every single thing you're doing. You're not, you don't need to create an event because you're going to the grocery store, But do, if you're having an event, if you're doing a sale, if you're having an open house, create an event for it, share it with your friends, and then help each other out. Like I said, share each other's events. Take advantage of the networking that you're doing here. So if you see, because I've got it set up through Twitter feed, what I posted on yesterday's Facebook also automatically posted to my Twitter. It's also posting to my LinkedIn. One post goes to all of them, and that's really easy to do. Those, with the Twitter feed thing and the TweetDeck thing. Take a look at it. It's not hard. Just use them and link them all together. It only takes a few minutes just by putting your account information in, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. This is Alexa.com. It basically monitors search engine optimization, and it only gets real detailed if you're in the top like 1%. But if you see the traffic rank worldwide, out of like 290 million websites, the Bremerton Chamber's website is ranked around 3.3 million. That's pretty high. And if you do things like this with your Twitter and your blog, and link them to your website, you can increase your search engine optimization, and you can use tools like Alexa.com to check out where you're standing. And like I said, if you guys have any questions about this later, I'm more than willing to help you out with it. Anybody seen these before? QR codes? If you walk into the chamber office, this sign is on the door. We can't be open all the time. So with a smartphone, you can take a picture of the QR code, and it's going to take you to the chamber's website. QR codes can be used for a number of different things. There's a couple of links on that one page on how to create a QR code. It's really easy. You can do a number of different things. You can use it what they call a VR card, and that's actually built into our website. We've created a QR code for every single one of you guys. Did you know that? Thanks, Bob, for doing that. If you go into your profile on the Chambers page, there's a QR code in there. If you save that and you put it on your business card, if somebody scans that business card, it's going to put your contact information in there. It's already on our chamber page. So if you want to do other things with it, like send people to your website or to your Facebook page, or if you decide to create a mobile application, a QR code can take you to whatever that is. They scan it, it takes them to the site, to the App Store, whatever that may be. So QR codes, you're going to see them all over the place. They're really easy to create. And you're starting to see, it's kind of funny, I've seen them on TV commercials, like at the beginning of a TV commercial, for about a half a second, they put up their QR code, which makes absolutely no sense. Run it through through the length of the, did I shut it off again? Run it through the length of your commercial in the corner, But QR codes are pretty cool, and they're really powerful. I'm going to talk a little bit about smartphones. I, for years, sold computers and electronics at Costco. And one of the reasons why I did very well at it, although I wish I made a commission, I probably would have never left if I was making commissions back then. But I love technology. I love the time we're living in right now because there's some really cool stuff out there. I had the original Pong game back in the day. I was so mad at my mom for selling that in the garage sale. So, smartphones are going nuts. There's so many coming on the market. They're talking about 31% of mobile phone users having a smartphone by December 2010. 297 million of the 1.6 are smartphones. Smartphones are going nuts. If you don't have a smartphone yet, you probably will soon. There's really no reason not to get one if they're selling it to you for, for as cheap as they're starting to get now. The technology that you can use is absolutely amazing. I never use a phone book anymore. I use my phone. If I can't find it by doing a search on my phone, I'm probably not going to shop there. So, they're pretty crazy stats. 500 million smartphones they're expecting to sell in 2012. 500 million. So if you're not doing things to take advantage of the smartphones, you're failing in business right now. Not that you can't make it. Old school marketing is still important. Face-to-face stuff, advertising, it's still important. But you better be taking advantage of the smartphone and the tablet applications. Tablet statistics, driven by the iPad. There's lots of them coming out now. They're talking about 19.5 million tablets hitting the market. Just because I love gadgets, I bought an iPad 2 recently. I got the one that didn't have the service built into it. If you want instant access all the time, look at the ones that have the contract. I chose to upgrade my phone to broadcast the Wi-Fi off my phone so I could use my laptop and my iPad on it. The cool thing about these things, and the reason why that they do so well, is they're writing applications like crazy for these things. There's so many applications coming out for the iPad and the Androids that you can, pretty much anything you can think of, they've got an app for it now. What's so great about this is that it's on. When you've got your computer, I carry my laptop around a lot. I have so much junk that I've installed on it. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to start up my computer. And I know how to fix it. I just don't half the time. But it takes a long time for that thing to start up. I barely turn on my computer at home anymore. And the cool part, this is kind of a plus and a negative about the iPad is iPad doesn't do Flash, which means I can't play games on Facebook on it, and it means that I can't chat on Facebook on it either. So when I get on, when I'm looking on Facebook on this thing, I can interact with people, in the form of messages, but nothing pops up and bugs me and distracts me when I'm using this, which is kind of cool. It's also got HBO to go on it too, so I can watch Rome and The Sopranos and all that kind of stuff when I actually have spare time, which is pretty rare. But tablets are amazing. They're getting cheaper. They're talking about them getting under $300 here in the next year or two. If you don't have a tablet, and right now people are like, what do I need a tablet for? I've got a laptop, I've got a computer. I've got instant access to all that information now. That I don't have to wait for it. The biggest thing that I have to do is go to my phone and tell it to turn on my Wi-Fi, which takes me about 30 seconds. So they're absolutely amazing, and they're coming out with all kinds of crazy applications, and there are some productive ones out there, believe it or not. So, anybody have any questions about anything? I know I kind of glossed over most of it, but yeah.